Hi guys, here we are, week 3, 19.3, past the halfway point of the open now. Just done the workout, so I'm just going to give you a few strategy tips, warm-up tips to help you get through 19.3. Okay, so obviously 19.3 is a slightly different workout. It's not going to be one which gets your heart rate racing. Obviously your heart rate's going to be elevated, but it's not going to be like a 19.1 kind of feeling. Okay, it's going to be much more consistent in terms of how breathless you're going to feel through the workout. Okay, the movements themselves, lunges, step-ups, strict handstand push-ups, handstand walks, require a lot more control of your breathing and much more consistent in pace. Okay, so we'll start with your warm-up. So your warm-up, obviously you want to make sure you're warming up your hips for the lunges and the step-ups. You warm up your shoulders, get mainly that overhead position for the handstand walks, handstand push-ups, and obviously the overhead lunges. Okay, so you're going to do that first. And then you're just going to start off with a little bit of general movement preparation, okay, bearing in mind the movements we have in the workout. So you're just going to work through 3 sets of 10 overhead walking lunges, but with the plate. Okay, so on the plate, on the palm of your hand, you're going to push up on the plate, you're going to make sure you're going into that shoulder extension, warming up, ready for the workout. You don't need to go too heavy, it's just a case of getting a feel for the positions you need to be going into during the workout. Okay, then you're going to do 8 unweighted step-ups, okay, and this is a good time just to experiment with how you're going to move your feet onto the box. Okay, obviously onto the box, you're going to step up with one leg and then step up, step your other leg up. But when you come down, okay, so you want to play around either stepping down with the same leg that you stepped up with, or using the opposite leg so you can then go straight into the next rep, which is what I do, which I found a little bit easier. Okay, and you're just going to do a 20-second handstand hold against the wall, again just to warm up that overhead position. All right, then I want you to warm up the movements. Okay, so build to your working weights for the lunges and the step-ups, play around with the different grips, which we'll come to later on. And then obviously warm up your handstand push-ups, handstand walks, all the movements we're going to use in the workout. And then we can start to build a little bit of intensity, get your heart rate up a little bit. Like I say, it's not going to be a workout where your heart's going to be absolutely racing. Okay, it's much more controlled on this one. So you're just going to work with 3 sets, 4 overhead lunges. Okay, go with the same, 4 overhead lunges. You can alternate arms, so that's fine. And you're going to do 4 step-ups using the grip you want to use in the workout, and then 2 strict handstand push-ups, resting 90 seconds after each round. Okay, so we shouldn't accumulate any fatigue here. It's just a case of getting into the movement patterns we're going to be using during the workout. Okay, movements themselves. All right, so obviously overhead lunges, it's something you've all done before. What you want to think about on here, okay, is how you're going to break up the 200 feet. All right, so you're going to have your 25-foot markers on the floor. So obviously every 25 foot you're going to have to turn around, okay, but how you do that is up to you. So obviously there's no stipulation as to how often you have to alternate arms, okay. So in terms of getting a fast turnaround, obviously the fastest way to turn around is to keep the dumbbell above your head, do a quick turn and then go straight back the other way. Okay, obviously the downside of that is you're going to start to accumulate a little bit more fatigue on one arm, but then when you work on the other arm, you're going to just let that arm rest for a little bit longer. Okay, so it's 50-50 with that one, but what I did, so the first 100 feet, I just swapped arms every 50. So I do a 25 foot on my right arm, turn around, do 25 foot back on my right arm, then do the same on my left. On the second 100 feet, I changed every 25, just to not fatigue my arms too much, give me a bit more chance to recover, ready for the strict handstand push-ups. Okay, so think about that before you start. You don't want to be thinking about it during the workout, okay? On the lunges, right, obviously the fastest way is to make sure you're stepping through straight into the next rep, okay? So as opposed to standing up, bringing your feet together and then going, okay? You're going to stand up, go up to full extension, pass straight through into the next rep, okay? That's just going to save you a little bit of time. You're going to add up over the 200 feet, buy yourself time for later in the workout, okay? The lunges are not a complex movement. So the faster you can get through those without accumulating too much fatigue, the more time you're going to have when it gets to things like the handstand push-ups and the handstand walks. Okay, obviously with that kind of movement, there's only so fast you can go, but maximize it. Okay, and then when you do turn, make sure that turnaround, if you're putting the dumbbell down, is a quick, put the dumbbell down, quick turnaround and pick back up. Or if you just bring it down to your shoulder, switching arms and going again, keep that time nice and short. Okay, obviously the lunges, you're going to accumulate some fatigue, but you're not going to get to the point where you're failing reps, okay? So you can move through those at a decent pace, like I say, buy yourself time for later in the workout, okay? Then you've got your dumbbell step-ups, right? So again, they're not massively complex movement, it's just a case of getting comfortable before you start the workout. Okay, so obviously it doesn't stipulate in the movement standards how you need to hold the dumbbell. Okay, it's completely up to you. So obviously in the pictures, you have one arm down by your side, which is one way. Okay, downside of that, if you've got short legs and long arms, you're going to have to lift the dumbbell up every time you step over the box. It's going to tax your grip a lot more, and it's going to focus that fatigue a little bit more on your shoulders and triceps, which isn't going to be great when it comes to your handstand push-ups. Okay, the next option is to go with one dumbbell, obviously one dumbbell up in the front rack position. Okay, again, there's pros and cons to this one. Obviously, again, you're not going to be taxing your grip as much because you can let the dumbbell rest on your shoulder. It might feel a little bit one-sided, particularly because you've got to alternate legs. Okay, so that might be comfortable, it might not. Okay, what I did, which I found most comfortable for me, is hold the dumbbell in the center, bring my elbows up like I was trying to get into a front rack position. So I was holding the dumbbell, supporting it with both arms, balancing out that fatigue, okay, but also letting it sit on my shoulder so I wasn't taking the full weight of the dumbbell. Okay, that was the most comfortable way for me. Have a play around with it, find what works for you. Okay, on these step ups, once you get into a rhythm, it's quite easy to keep going. Okay, the weight isn't so heavy that you're going to start failing step ups. All right, so for me, I did all 50 without putting the dumbbell down. Okay, I'm not saying that was the best way. I'm just saying that once I got going, I found it easier to keep moving as opposed to stopping, putting the dumbbell down, resting, re-gripping, and going again. Okay. Obviously, in terms of fatigue, accumulating fatigue in your legs in the step-ups is fine. We don't need them for the rest of the workout. Okay. What you need to manage is the fatigue in your upper body from holding the dumbbell, so that when you get to the handstand push-ups, then you're not going to burn out. Okay. Depending on your handstand push-ups, that may or may not be an issue. But think about that, okay? If you do break, try and plan them, okay? So in my head, I was thinking I'll do 25 and then rest and then do another 25. When it got to it, I didn't need to, I could just keep going. Again, like I said, whether that was the best strategy, I'm not sure when it came to the handstand push-ups, but have an idea in your head of what you're gonna do. And then when you do break, again, just do enough just to release the tension in your upper body and then go again, okay? Even doing the 50 unbroken, your heart rate's not gonna get that high. You can keep breathing, it's quite a steady movement. Okay. In terms of your feet, obviously you have to alternate legs. What I found easiest was obviously to step up with my right leg, but then leave my left leg on the box when I step back down, so that when I brought my left leg down, I could go down, touch the floor, and then go straight up into the next rep, as opposed to getting down onto the floor and switching feet on the floor. Okay, but again, that's something you can think about, play around with, find what works for you. It's not necessarily any quicker, it's just what you're going to find less awkward and easier to maintain through those reps. Okay, strict handstand push-ups. Okay, so the important thing on your strict handstand push-ups is knowing your threshold. Okay, so for me, I know that I can do around 12 strict unbroken handstand push-ups. Okay, obviously for 50 reps, I know I'm not going to be able to do 4 sets of 12 and then a few extra. All right, so what I did, my aim was to just go for 25% of my max handstand push-ups with a short rest. Okay, so I was doing them in sets of 3, resting between 10 seconds after each set of 3, okay, and obviously you have to think about that rest as you go through, based on how your previous set felt easy. You can keep that rest short. As the fatigue starts to accumulate, then you can make that rest a little bit longer to make sure you're getting those sets in, okay, but that number is going to be very individual to you, all right, which is why it's important to base that percentage of how many handstand push-ups you can do, all right, so that you can get through it efficiently without having to get to the point where you're doing single reps at a time or failing any reps. Okay, we don't want any failed reps on these handstand push-ups. 50 strict handstand push-ups in one go is quite a lot. Okay, so you need to be able to move consistently through them. All right, so make sure there's no reps. Be deliberate with your breaks. Know your threshold. Okay, work backwards off that so you're consistent the whole way through the workout. Okay, in terms of time, for me, I think the lunges took around 2 minutes. Step-ups took a little bit longer, around 2.5 minutes, so the rest of it, for me, was taken up by the handstand push-ups, okay? But then, once if you get through those handstand push-ups quite well, you're quite efficient with them, you can stick to reasonable sized sets with the short rests, and you're gonna get onto the handstand walks. Right, now handstand walks, you're gonna have to think your way through it a little bit. Obviously, some people, they can kick straight up into the handstand walk, they're quite resistant to fatigue, and they can work those 25-foot sections quite easy, okay, which is great. If you can do that, do it, all right? If not, then you want to make sure that you adapt it to a distance which obviously again you can consistently do because of the markings on the floor. If you fail halfway through, you don't want to have to keep taking steps back to go back to the previous line. Okay, so I want you to aim for the longer sets if you can, all right, but making sure that you're getting over the 5 feet mark every time so that we're not spending any time walking forwards and having to come back if we fail halfway. Okay, so that's why you need to think as you go in, as you pass in the markers. All right, think about how you're feeling, think about, am I good to keep going? If you are, keep going and make sure you get over that next line. If it's a little bit shaky, all right, then drop down after the nearest marker to you, shake it off, and then go again. Okay, we don't want to do any more handstand walking than you need to. All right, and then again, once you get to the end of the 25 feet, all right, try and keep that turnaround relatively short. Don't spend too much time, okay? It's possible to finish in the 10 minutes, but it's going to be tight, right? The only way you're going to do it is moving at a great pace through all 4 movements, okay? And obviously because of the nature of it, one movement fatigues the next one, all right? So obviously the lunges are going to fatigue your legs for the step-ups are going to fatigue your upper body for the handstand push-ups, and the handstand push-ups are going to fatigue your upper body for the handstand walks, okay? So it's going to be tough, it is doable, all right? But know your threshold, and know what's going to work best for you in terms of your grip, in terms of your switches on the lunges. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit more thinking than the previous ones, all right, but have a good think about it before you start, and then enjoy the workout. Good luck.